everyone, welcome to this session. I'm Arthi Ramasubramanian Iyer, Group Product Manager, and co-presenting with me today is Anton Fritz, Principal PM Lead in the Azure Data Org in Microsoft. In this session, we will together cover security and compliance features, but also capabilities enabling effective administration and governance in Fabric. But first, what's Fabric? Fabric provides a unified intelligent data foundation for all analytics workloads and integrates Power BI, Data Factory, and the next generation of Synapse to offer customers a price-performant and easy-to-manage modern analytics solution. Every analytics workload works seamlessly with OneLake to minimize data management, time and effort by eliminating data movement and duplication. Hence, Fabric reduces the pain of integration and facilitates better collaboration in addition to making available different analytical tools your team needs. And here's the value Fabric brings. Fabric provides a complete analytics platform with best-of-breed capabilities across every analytics workload with security and governance inbuilt. It is open at every layer. Fabric empowers business users with deeply integrated Microsoft Office and Teams experiences, and it delivers AI copilots to accelerate analytics productivity and discover insights with your data. In this session, we will particularly focus on the capabilities which will make Fabric secured and governed. Securing and governing your data is a non-negotiable priority for us. With Fabric, we will deliver industry-leading capabilities that will enable you to secure and govern your data end-to-end. Let's start with how administrators in Fabric can manage configurations for their tenant. In Fabric, as Fabric admins, you will be able to manage all tenant and capacity settings in one admin portal. In the Fabric admin portal, you can centrally manage, review, and apply settings for the entire tenant, not just for Power BI, but everything Fabric. You can set security configurations for the entire tenant, so every data engineer or data scientist need not worry about it. For instance, if you would like to allow users in your tenant apply sensitivity labels to Fabric artifacts, you can set this up once at the tenant level in the admin portal. Next, let's move on to capacity settings, which provides you, a tenant admin, visibility and allows you to manage all capacities in your tenant, including the new Fabric capacities. In addition to that, tenant admins will also have visibility into all active Fabric trial capacities provisioned for users within the tenant. Clicking on the capacity allows you to adjust settings specific to that capacity. As a capacity admin, you will be able to manage capacities you're an admin of in a very similar fashion. Let's now take a quick look at how an admin can control availability of Fabric Purview workloads for users within your tenant. Users in your tenant can create Fabric artifacts once the switch at the tenant level is turned on. You can also choose to restrict it to certain users in your tenant. If no action is taken by July 1st, Fabric will be turned on by default for your tenant. However, if you choose to turn off access to Fabric, it will remain turned off for your tenant until you choose to turn it on. Additionally, capacity admins can configure this setting for their capacities independent of the configuration at the tenant level. For instance, you can enable Fabric at the tenant level for specific users. However, at the capacity level, the capacity admin may choose to follow the setting at the tenant level or override the tenant configuration. While there are admin APIs available for a tenant admin to be able to automate aspects of tenant management, we are introducing a new one which will allow you to read tenant settings and configurations you have applied for each setting. This could be used in automation scenarios, but also for documentation purposes and sharing current Fabric configurations to other non-admin users in your tenant. We understand that as the number of settings increase, keeping track of newly added ones are not easy. To help with this problem, in addition to visual cues for new settings, we will also notify you of newly added tenant settings in the admin portal as shown here. Now, a quick look into other features we're actively working on. We plan to make available more settings which can be delegated by a tenant admin to capacity or domain admins and workspace admins. This allows for distributed and granular management of relevant settings, enabling efficient management as we introduce new workloads and features in Fabric. We also plan to make usability improvements like a search experience, which searches both settings, titles, and also descriptions to surface settings that match your specific criteria. While some of the admin APIs will support Fabric artifacts at public preview, we will continue to expand that list to make sure all admin APIs do. Let's take a look at monitoring capabilities in Fabric now. As admins, to effectively govern, we understand that you need insights into usage, adoption, and activities within your tenant. Hence, we introduce the admin monitoring feature, which is an in-product admin monitoring workspace with pre-created reports and datasets. This feature will soon extend to include Fabric artifacts and additional governance capabilities. Here's a quick demo of this feature.
The new Admin Monitoring Workspace is a Microsoft-curated workspace targeted to the needs of tenant admins. It comes pre-populated with reports and datasets, and we're going to be focusing on the new feature usage and adoption report for this demo. Keep in mind that as we roll out more Fabric capabilities, this workspace will include value-added Fabric artifacts on an ongoing basis. You can't add or remove artifacts here, but you can, for instance, use the included datasets to build your own reports. As a tenant admin, you can also share this workspace with others in your organization as you would any other workspace. So let's take a look at the new feature usage and adoption report. This report comes pre-populated with 30 days worth of data and gives you a bird's eye view of activities on the tenant across time. You can zero in on a specific date range here, or you can use the familiar filter interface on the right to filter along a range of parameters. You can also filter directly from within the report UI. We can right-click to drill through on this category, or drill down in this case, to break it down into its constituent elements. We can continue the analysis here, or we can move over to this visualization on the right, which correlates the most active users with this category. Here we see this user's activities are exponentially higher than other users, and perhaps we'd like to learn more about what they're doing across the tenant. To do that, we can drill through to activity details. This is going to give us a contextual view of this user's activities across the tenant, correlated with these parameters. We can do even more interesting things on the analysis pane. I'm going to reset this to the default view, and we see the total activities are represented by this bar here, giving us the opportunity to build out an analysis tree any way we'd like. We have a number of choices here in which direction we'd like to take it. In this case, I'm going to choose item type. I'm going to select report here, and again, I have any of a number of choices where I'd like to go. I'm going to select action, and I'll go with the top ranking one again. And from here, I'm going to select activity name, and let's end up with users again. So I'm going to select users. So you can see that this is a very flexible way to build out an analysis tree to support any of a number of scenarios.
With Fabric, as we introduce new workloads like data engineering, data warehousing, and more, it becomes even more critical for you to have visibility into capacity utilization, usage trends, so you can plan and scale your capacity accordingly, which leads us to our next demo, the Capacity Metrics app.
Capacity Metrics provides administrators with all the data needed to monitor capacities and plan for capacity scale-up decisions. To get started, I'll first choose one of the capacities hosted in my company's tenant. The first graphic shows me a trend of capacity unit consumption by workload. I can also view trends of operation duration, count of operations by workload, and count of distinct users to track workload adoption. The utilization graph on the right shows me the amount of capacity units I've used compared to the amount of capacity I've purchased. I can also see if autoscale is enabled or in use here. Trial capacities can run both production Power BI workloads and Fabric Preview workloads. Preview status is differentiated by color along with interactive versus background classification, which helps me determine if the usage is from physical users or scheduled operations to cook data. The items table shows me usage information by item and workspace. In this context, an item can be a Power BI dataset, a data warehouse, or any instance of a Fabric workload. To walk you through a typical analysis scenario, I'm going to investigate what my top workload usage was on Wednesday the 19th. As I select a date, both the utilization graph and item table update to show usage trends during the selected period. Items are sorted by the amount of capacity units consumed, and I can see that Lakehouse, Notebook, and Dataset operations are my top 3 contributors. In this view, I can filter by workload type to simplify analysis, or I can use TimePoint Drill to explore full fidelity telemetry. Selecting a region in time in the usage graph lets me load TimePoint Drill via the Explore button. Unlike the aggregated views we just saw, TimePoint Drill shows operations running during a single point in time to help me analyze what contributed to capacity usage, autoscale, or throttling decisions. The views here show the amount of throughput provided by my capacity SKU and autoscale configuration. Operations are split between interactive and background. When analyzing individual operations, admins can see the workload items, workspaces, and duration. User information is also provided to enable easy follow-up with workload creators if optimization is needed.
This section covers some of our key foundational features like security and reliability. And before we drill deeper into some of these areas, I would like to first share our vision for this area. Starting at this networking layer, we will ensure users in your tenant can securely connect to Fabric, but also users working with Fabric can securely connect to their data outside of Fabric. Beyond that, access control will be managed via workspace roles, permissions, and sharing, as well as additional security at the data layer via OneSecurity. Like many other Microsoft products and services, we will comply with key industry certifications and regulations. Your data will be further protected by double encryption, end-to-end auditability, and data recovery in case of a disaster. And finally, Purview will be deeply integrated with Trident, bringing in a whole suite of governance capabilities. Over the next several slides, let's dive into what's available today and what's on our roadmap. At public preview, for your Fabric data stored at rest in your home region or in one of your capacities, possibly at a remote region of your choice, we ensure that data never leaves the region boundary and is compliant with data residency requirements. We will also support end-to-end auditability for Fabric, so all Fabric user and system operations are captured in audit logs and made available in Microsoft Purview. For access control, the existing Power BI workspace roles now extend to cover Fabric artifacts, as well as with additional permissions which are specific to new Fabric artifacts. In addition to workspace roles, you can share individual Fabric artifacts or provide direct access to them to specific users. Looking at our roadmap, we are in active development of the first phase of a feature we are calling OneSecurity. OneSecurity will bring a shared universal security model which you'll be able to define in OneLake. More granular data security can be defined on data once in OneLake. This includes table, column, and row-level security. In this example, I have defined security on a data warehouse. That security would flow across any shortcut which references that data and be respected by any engine you choose to access this data with. There are many more fundamental features, some we are actively working on, and others which are part of our mid to long-term roadmap. We're actively working on adding support for managed identities for Fabric, which will allow you to securely connect to your external data sources and also operationalize relevant Fabric artifacts. We're also working on ensuring Fabric data is recoverable for business continuity. Other key features we soon plan to focus on are securing inbound and outbound connectivity in Fabric and data encryption using customer managed keys. Now, let me hand it over to Anton, who will cover more governance features and Fabric Purview integration. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthi. I'm really excited to talk with you today about enterprise information management capabilities in Fabric. As you think about Fabric, we are thinking about enterprise customers. Customers that, in order to empower thousands and tens of thousands of users to leverage Fabric, need enterprise-scale data management capabilities. These capabilities are usually oriented toward administrators that are responsible for data availability, data quality, compliance, and governance of analytics platforms. And the great thing about all of the capabilities that we are going to discuss today is that they are either built into Fabric or deeply integrated into Fabric. For example, the platform has a built-in data lineage and impact analysis capability, enabling you to get an overview of how the data flows in a complex analytics project, which may include data lakes, multiple data lakes, warehouses, pipelines, models, reports, and dashboards. Understanding where the data is coming from and where the data is going in a complex analytics project can help you easily assess the impact of making a change in one of the components. And it also can help you do root cause analysis if there is a data quality issue in the one of reports that the business users consume. So with data lineage, you can easily identify where the data is coming from and zoom in on the root cause. Another enterprise requirement is the ability to discover quality assets. And this is where endorsement is another important capability for enterprises that is built into Fabric. Endorsement helps users in organization to discover the highly quality endorsed by central team data assets. And today in Fabric, there are two ways to endorse your data assets. First is certification. Users that are authorized by Fabric administrators can certify data assets that meet organizations' data quality and reliability standards. The second way to endorse items is using promotion. This option available for all data owners, and it enables them to promote assets that they think that can be valuable for other users to reuse. Endorsed assets get higher visibility in OneLake Data Hub and other data discovery experiences in Fabric, what makes it easy for you to discover the endorsed assets and leverage them in your analytics tasks. We also understand that enterprises manage multiple platforms, and some enterprises need to export the metadata of the analytics platform to their homegrown management tools or third-party data cataloging tools. For this purpose, you can leverage Fabric's scanner APIs, which enable you to fetch all metadata and data lineage of Fabric items to power your custom analytics, or to leverage it in the third-party cataloging tools which you may use. Currently, Fabric is integrated with Microsoft Purview Data Catalog, Informatica, Colibra, and Alation. Please note that integration available for Power BI data assets only. We are in different stages in collaboration with our partners in making other Fabric assets available. Now, let's take a step back and look on large enterprises. And what we understand is that in order to achieve enterprise scale compliance and governance, the capabilities that we showed so far are only part of the puzzle. Enterprises also need enterprise scale tools to manage their entire multi-cloud, multi-platform data estate. With capabilities like data cataloging, information protection, detection of sensitive data, auditing, etc. And this is where Microsoft as a whole provides you with the best of tier of the full stack compliance and governance solution, with Microsoft Purview deeply integrated into Fabric, to provide you with single vendor approach that giving you the benefit of built-in compliance and governance integration. But first, what is Microsoft Purview? Microsoft Purview is a suite of compliance and governance solutions, helping enterprises govern their multi-cloud and multi-platform data estate, including governance of Microsoft 365 applications. Microsoft Purview unifies information protection, data governance, risk management, and compliance solutions to enable you one place to manage the compliance and governance for your entire data estate. And when we look on the Microsoft Purview deeply integrated with Fabric, it starts with integration with Microsoft Purview Data Catalog, where you can create a new Purview tenant that scans content from Fabric and from both first and third-party assets, enabling admins to better govern their multi-cloud, multi-platform data estate because they have all the assets in one place, and also that users that search the catalog, they can discover data across their organization. Today, Microsoft Purview Data Catalog supports scan of Fabric's Power BI assets, and it to be expanded to full set of Fabric assets in the upcoming months. If you're using existing Purview catalog and data estate insights, they continue work as they worked before. Purview's deep integration into Fabric continues with Purview information protection sensitivity labels. And as we all know, the concept of sensitivity from Office, where you can see if the document or email is confidential and you may not be authorized to export some sensitive data, this is all done through information protection sensitivity labels. These same sensitivity labels that are available in Office are now integrated into Fabric. That means that in one place in your organization, you manage all the audit and security policies for all the data platforms. And also it provides for users that are using Fabric with a familiar experience of how to apply sensitivity on sensitive data and how to know if the data is sensitive. Now let's see a demo of how information protection sensitivity labels are integrated into Fabric.
As data engineer, I can easily meet my organization compliance requirement to classify and label sensitive data in Fabric using Microsoft Purview information protection sensitivity labels. I will open the source layout of my analytics project. And here with Office-like user experience, I can apply the right sensitivity label to reflect the sensitivity of the data in this lakehouse. In this case, I would apply highly confidential internal-only sensitivity label. Once this sensitivity label applied on the lakehouse, Fabric automatically takes care of applying this sensitivity label on all the items connected to this lakehouse. Like you can see in this complex project, it includes various lakehouses, pipelines, SQL endpoints, datasets, reports, and dashboards. Now, when the business user will consume the Power BI report in this workspace, they will immediately see that this report has highly confidential internal-only data. And when they export this data for further analytics to Office, Fabric will automatically apply the sensitivity label and protection setting on the exported file, by thus providing end-to-end labeling and protection from Lake to Office.
But this does not end here. One of the most required enterprise compliance needs, especially for enterprises in highly regulated industries like finance or healthcare, is the ability to detect upload of sensitive data to the cloud. Here is another place where you can benefit from Purview's deep integration into Fabric. Compliance admins can define automatic DLP rules in Microsoft Purview portal to detect upload of sensitive data to Power BI models in Fabric. And if such upload detected, they can trigger an automatic policy tip or alert. DLP policy is exactly the tool that can help you automate your compliance processes in Fabric to meet the enterprise scale compliance requirements. DLP policies currently support only Power BI models in Fabric. Let's see a demo of how compliance admin can define a DLP policy to automatically detect upload of sensitive data.
In Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, this is where I define my data loss prevention policy. After giving it a name, I'm going to decide to run it on the Power BI location on top of Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and other locations you can see here. And I can decide if I want it to run on the entire tenant or to choose to exclude or exclude specific workspaces. Creating my rule, these are the conditions and actions that I want to run. In terms of conditions, we can use sensitive information types or sensitivity labels or any combination of these two. In this example, we'll use sensitive information types and we'll choose social security numbers, which means that we're going to automatically scan and detect social security numbers in the data sets in this tenant. My action is going to be a user notification, which is a custom policy tip that's going to appear in the Power BI UI for the Power BI users to be able to interact with this information and see the guidelines that the security admin defined for it. And here I'm going to define my admin alert with whatever severity makes sense. And I also want it to run and to arrive directly in my inbox. Once I created my rule, I'm able to review the conditions and the actions, and this is also the place that I'll be able to edit the rule if I need any revisions in the future. In Power BI, I can see my data set. As soon as I refresh it, it's going to trigger the evaluation of the policy, and in this case, we're going to detect sensitive information. When I click on the data set, I can see the details of the rule that was matched. This is the exact same custom policy tip that we defined a moment ago. Back in Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, in my Alerts tab, I can see the alert that was triggered. And when I click on it, I can see all the details on which dataset it ran, at what time, what sensitive information type was found, etc. I will also be able to see that this was sent directly into my email like I defined. With data loss prevention policies for Power BI, you are able to automatically detect sensitive information as it being uploaded to Power BI and to take immediate remediation actions. Thank you.
Microsoft Purview deep integration with Fabric continues with Microsoft Purview Hub, one place where you can gain Purview insight about your Fabric data estate built into Fabric experience. And it also provides you with links to deeper Purview capabilities available in Microsoft Purview portals. Let's see a demo of how Purview Hub can help you better govern your Fabric data estate.
As Fabric admin, I can find all of my Microsoft Purview insight in my Microsoft Purview Hub built into Fabric. I can also find links to documentation and deep links to Microsoft Purview portal for data cataloging and information protection solutions. Below in the items insights, I can see insights about my entire tenant. I can filter the insights by workspace and see in each workspace how many items of each type there are and how many of them are endorsed, whether certified or promoted. I can also filter this insight by endorsement type. For example, I can see all of the items that are certified, what types of items are certified, and in which workspaces they are. When I switch to sensitivity insights, I can see insights about sensitivity labels deployment in my tenant. I can filter the insight by a specific sensitivity label to see the items that are applied with highly confidential FTE label, what types of items are applied, and above I can see in which workspaces these items are placed. I can also leverage these insights to identify assets that are not applied with sensitivity label. For example, I can see that in this tenant a lot of reports and datasets are not applied with sensitivity label. By filtering the insights by reports or dataset, I can see in which workspaces these items are to take proactive actions and label them. For additional insight, I can open full Microsoft Purview Hub insights where I have tabs about sensitivity, endorsement, and items. And for example, in the sensitivity tab, I can identify the owners of the items that are applied with specific sensitivity label or the owners of items that weren't applied with sensitivity labels. Like in this example, I can see a list of owners that did not apply sensitivity labels, and I can proactively reach out to them for them to take an action.
The best enterprise scale capabilities I covered so far, including Lineage, endorsement, Scanner API, integration with Purview information protection, Purview data catalog, Purview data loss prevention policies, and Purview Hub are just the beginning. And the team is currently working hard on adding additional capabilities that will continue to light up in the upcoming months. Thank you very much.